Good evening, good day from wherever you're watching from. The news in detail now with me, Gloria Mutesi. Some residents and civil society leaders say that the Rwandan government's decision to suspend the increase of land taxes or immovable properties until further assessment has reaffirmed the principle of good governance, where citizens have a say in what is being done to them. Ethan Tashabia kicks us off tonight with this report.
The new land tax rate has been in place since July 2020. The government of Rwanda has increased land taxes from 80 Rwandan francs per square meter to 300 per square meter, an increase of approximately 257%. The new figures provided for by the property law of the August 2018 have sparked controversy until Niyitanga Salto, a village leader of Gasasa village, Lugando Sel in Chimihura sector in Kigali city, reported the matter to President Paul Kagame through a virtual interaction with the Rwandans on December 21, 2020. This is the same day that President Kagame delivered the State of the Nation address.
My question is about land tax that drastically increased, and landowners have started complaining that they will not be able to afford the taxes. Your Excellency, I know you always find solutions for many concerns brought to you affecting Rwandans. I request that you also look into this problem and find solution for the good of the people, as you have always done.
After hearing the explanation from the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning on the new land tax rates, President Kagame promised Rwandans that he would follow up on the matter.
A lot can be assessed, including the current economic situation and the reason behind the new tax regime, to find a better standpoint suitable for majority instead. I know some people may not be able to pay the least amount of the taxes, but can be addressed in another form. We will try to follow up on this issue.
Based on the cabinet decision of 15th March this year, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Ziel Ndagijimana, announced that immovable property tax for the year 2020 will be paid based on the rates that applied in 2019 before the new tax regime came into effect.
Owing to the current economic situation brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, has affected many taxpayers. The cabinet meeting resolved to suspend the recently announced land taxes until further assessment. This means that taxpayers will consider the previous charges while paying land taxes. That means the taxes paid in 2019 without any additional taxes. The second decision is that deadline for these taxes, which was initially set for end of March, has been extended to end of April next month. This is to make sure that no citizen is left behind during this exercise. The third decision concerns the extra payment made by taxpayers who have already paid their 2020 property dues. The balance will be added to the individual's next payment.
The decision to suspend the new tax regime has been warmly welcomed by the general public with mixed reactions.
The issue has been expeditiously addressed. In some cases, some issues take long. I want to thank the President of the Republic for having swiftly addressed this issue, which has raised many questions.
I had the news this morning about the changes, and I am very thankful to the government for considering the views of the common people. The taxes had increased threefold compared to the taxes we paid. I had already paid the 2020 taxes. This year I will not spend anything on land taxes, since what I paid is more than 2 times what I had paid in 2019. COVID-19 affected everyone. There were effects of lockdown coupled by the increased taxes. The government has addressed this issue the best way possible.
On the part of the civil society, the chairperson of Transparency International Rwanda, Ingabire Marie Immaculée, says the decision reflects the leadership's understanding and appreciation of the views of the citizens.
We have welcomed the decision by the government of Rwanda, and I want to take this opportunity to thank the leadership for having considered the concerns of the general public. Advocacy does not end there. There is need for strong measures to assess the issue of taxes on immovable property. I trust the will of the government to consider the views of the people, despite some people in positions of leadership who tend to act haphazardly. I have confidence that our government will always put first the interests of the general public.
Minister Ndagijimana explained that the government will next year make an assessment of the property law and adopt amendments that will determine the new taxes on immovable property. Finance Minister also added that the tax collector will deduct the extra payment made by the taxpayer who've already paid their 2020 property dues. The balance will be added to the individual's next payment. Reporting for RwandaTV News, Ethan Tashobia.
Many thanks, Ethan Tashuria, for that report. Now, the Directorate General of Immigration is calling upon all citizens who got passports between June 2016 and June 2019 to buy East African Community electronic passports. According to Peter Kalisa, the head of communications, this e-passport is in compliance with the new ESC technical specifications, as well as the International Civil Aviation Organization, making it admissible globally.
As per ICAO recommendations, the e-passport is the world standard travel document. Rwanda started issuing the e-passport in June 2019 on the 28th. Passport contains a chip that has the biometric data, which makes it difficult for it to be forged.
So those in the diaspora, how easily can they get this passport?
Rwandans living in diaspora can apply for their e-passports online through the Rainbow portal, and they give their biometrics at the embassy, and that's where they collect their passports from.
And how much would it be? Because I know the former one was around 50,000 Rwandan francs. How much is the new passport right now?
The new e-passport has three types. There is an ordinary passport. We also issue a service passport and a diplomatic passport. The ordinary passport has three types. A passport that is valid for 10 years costs 100,000. A passport valid for 5 years costs 75,000 francs. We also issue passports for minors, which cost 25,000 francs. I'd like to remind Rwandans that the old passports will be phased out on 28th June this year, 2021.
Now, the East African Community electronic passports are expected to boast faster border clearance, as well as part of a wider regional strategy to enhance integration. Moving on, Mount Kenya University has yet again made a donation of 30 million Rwanda francs to Imbuto Foundation to support the organization's education fund targeting girls from financially vulnerable families. Gabi Muvunyi now reports.
This Wednesday, March 17, 2021, Imbuto Foundation received $30,000 from Mount Kenya University, a donation that is part of the ongoing 5-year partnership between the two institutions to support financially vulnerable girls to have access to quality education. During a signing ceremony held at the main MKU Kigali campus, Mount Kenya University Vice Chancellor Edwin Oduno says doing this is part of improving education in children, especially the girl child.
The donation of $30,000 annually is supposed to go for scholarship for students, needy and deserving students. But as of this year, we've gone a step further. We will be requesting Imbuto Foundation to nominate 100 girls who will be given training, either face-to-face if the circumstances allow, or online. They'll be given training on entrepreneurial skills such that when they finish school, they may begin their own businesses. The focus of Mount Kenya University also is to ensure that people who graduate are able to provide their employment for themselves and for others.
The sponsorship initiative, which is part of Mbuto's foundation Edified Generation Scholarships Program, has been running since 2003. Sandrine Umutoni, the Director General of Mbuto Foundation, says the final donation will facilitate the foundation's main objective of financially supporting secondary school girl students from economically vulnerable backgrounds in their pursuit of education.
This is a partnership that started in 2018 in order to support students every single year in high school but also at university level. So to be able to come here in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic and to see that the commitment of Mount Kenya University continues despite the many challenges that we have seen in the past few months or 1 year is very reassuring in terms of the commitment that they have made, but also reassuring in terms of the support we are bringing to the students every single year.
Some of the beneficiaries of this program, including Kaliza Iradukunda and Noela Dushakimana, who are currently in their last year at Mount Kenya University, express how fulfilled they are with this opportunity.
It feels so good for me. I got the opportunity to come to study here, which is the best school, the best university in Rwanda. It gives the quality education, so it feels so good for me.
I'm grateful and I'm appreciating the Mbuto Foundation and the Mount Kenya University to give me that opportunity to study.
In 2003, the Mbuto Foundation, established by the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Jeannette Kagame, launched a scholarship program called Edified Generation. It primarily focused on paying tuition fee for high-performing secondary students from economically weak backgrounds. Since the program began, more than 8,000 boys and girls have been awarded scholarships to universities and colleges, of which 3,777 are boys and 4,490 are girls. Under the partnership with Mbuto Foundation that began in 2018, Mount Kenya University pledged to contribute $150,000 to Edified Generation Scholarship Program, which is divided into annual installments of $30,000 to support the education of financially vulnerable students. Gabi Muvunyi for RTV.
Thanks very much, Gabi Muvunyi, for that report. To Health Matters now, the Rwanda Biomedical Center confirms that hospitals in Rwanda have reached a capacity of 96% in blood collection. Patients are grateful to those who donated blood and continue to do so for those in need. Umwari Jed continues with this story.
Umuhoza Marie-Louise, a patient at Muhima, was seen receiving blood. Without this opportunity, her health would have been in danger. I was not seeing well. I came here and the doctors took great care of me. They gave me blood and I began to feel like a healthy person. Umuhoza, as well as other patients at the hospital, are in need of blood. Dr. Diane Kaitesi, a pediatrician, explains the importance of blood transfusion in medical operations. It is a problem of children not breathing properly or their heart not beating properly, but it is a general problem in relation to blood. Blood donations support people's health by ensuring safe blood transfusions if needed. Rosette Nyirahagenimana traveled 4.5 hours from Mutsero district to Kigali to donate blood. It is an act of compassion that she shares with others. To donate blood, especially when I am healthy and have no problem, is easy for me. It gives me joy to donate blood because it ensures that someone else's life has been saved. Women are the top blood donors according to the available health statistics. Nadine Rutabayura says Access Bank, a women's credit union, is donating 3 million Rwanda francs for the project. One cannot speak about women empowerment without highlighting the many obstacles women face. Women take care of their children, take care of the home, and have so many other responsibilities placed on them as well. This is one of the many reasons we came up with a campaign to donate blood. The campaign paves the way to empower women and ensure that their health is a priority. Dr. Thomas Muyombo, Director of Regional Center for Blood Transfusion, RCBT, says the country has reached 96.4% capacity of blood donations in hospitals.
Blood donations were much higher this year in comparison with last year. It was not possible to hold campaigns due to COVID-19 pandemic. We would mobilize many people by holding the campaigns and different meetings explaining what the blood donations mean and the difference they make. Returning blood donors are at 63% and the new donors are at 30%. This is great for the country because at least 30% of the population should donate blood, and we are currently at 40%.
A blood donation campaign which began in Kigali on Wednesday, March 17, 2021, will last 3 days ending on Friday. RBC aims to collect blood from at least 100 to 150 people, with a total collection of at least 300 to 400 blood bags. Umngari Jade, RTV News.
Indeed, a very special thank you to all the blood donors. Blood donation saves life. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation says that operations of 39 Rwandan embassies are moving well with the core responsibility of forging good relations with other countries. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, Dr. Vincent Biruta, said this during a dialogue with the Parliamentary Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security, where various issues were discussed, including state protocol, Rwandan embassies and Rwandans living abroad. Minister Biruta explains that although the number of embassies is still few, as well as the staff, they're doing their work effectively. The Minister of Foreign Affairs also spoke about the activities of Rwandans living abroad and their contribution to the development of the country, explaining that each year they contribute $200 million of remittances to the country through their families and development activities. Minister Biruta also explains that preparations have been made to enumerate Rwandans living abroad and also look at what they can do to make their contribution based on their knowledge.
There is also another project that I talked about, those Rwandans that have various skills in health, technical and vocational skills, or finance to offer their time through voluntary work when they perhaps come to Rwanda on holiday for a month or for any given period of time. Or there are those that could simply offer to fund themselves and come give their contribution. But there are also those that say they could come if they could be funded fairways and accommodation. We can prepare a budget for that and set it in motion. We've already started working with some countries.
The MPs appreciated the role of Rwandans living abroad, but also call upon them to invest more in the country, whether financially or intellectually.
We believe that even MPs should be involved in this process of coordinating with Rwandans living abroad that have skills in health sector, education sector and others that come to give their contribution when on annual leave to develop the country. After this pandemic, we hope that these Rwandans that live abroad, as you know, they usually come for umushyikirano. We meet and remind them of their role in development of the country.
That's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. The plan stays the same: to wear your face mask and do all that is required of you to stop the spread of the pandemic. Otherwise, God bless you and keep you. And until next time, I'm Gloria Mutesi.